Hello and welcome to another Q&A, live of course, and today we have the Bentley Bentayga W12 Speed. And before we get into this vehicle, which is pretty incredible, couple pieces of housekeeping. One, I have a walk around for this car up right now that went live at 6 a.m. this morning. I will have a POV drive tomorrow at 6 a.m. and then on Monday, got a double feature for you. I'll have a POV night drive at 6 a.m. and then a review at 10 a.m. So look forward to those and catch up on those. If you don't want to hear me talking, the walkarounds and the POVs are there for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I'd be such a fan of yours. That would be great. And if you would like to support the channel, I've got gear and there's a Patreon account where I actually offer some pretty cool stuff. So if you want to support me there, do so. But without further ado, let's talk about the Bentley Bentayga Speed. And first, we're going to answer the questions from Instagram. You can follow me there, and I put up a post asking for questions early, and that's just at MilesPerHr on Instagram, and also from the YouTube community. So you can ask questions in either of those places, and we address them first. Christina, who's joining us right now?
Oh, well, you have a couple people saying hi.
Hello.
So you have Andrew Parker, GB saying hey.
Hey.
Nukai saying hi. Aaron saying hi.
All right. So thank you guys for joining in, and Christina, of course, is manning the camera as usual, doing her best job.
Yeah,
Looking
thank
great.
you. They said hi to me too.
Oh,
Hello.
perfect.
All right, let's get into it. Of all the cars you've driven, which would you choose to daily drive and why? From Steven45.
Which would I choose to daily drive? So from the cars I've driven, I'm just going to segment it into the cars that I've reviewed. So I've driven many cars, some of which I was reviewing, some not so. I would choose, oh man, not to cop out, but in terms of just like a daily drive or comfy thing, this thing is pretty good. Christina's upset with that response. Okay, so daily driver supercar, that Acura NSX I had a few weeks ago, that is the most comfortable supercar I've ever driven. Just felt like a luxury car that happened to be insanely powerful. So I would do that one for daily driver supercar. Yeah, let's just go with that. The Acura NSX.
All right, I'll take that.
Christina's not happy.
No, I like the NSX.
Yeah.
What do you like most out of all the cars you've reviewed? From Maimona Diop.
Okay, so a similar question, but not so much daily driver. Just like, what do I like most about all the cars I've reviewed? I mentioned this in a few Q&As ago, but the McLaren, and it just holds this benchmark for me. The McLaren 675 LT from 2016 just kind of, it blew my mind. Maybe it just overwhelmed me when I was newer to this than I am now, but it just holds this high place for me. It wasn't just fast, it had the dynamic look, and it happened to be lime green, and so I loved everything about that car. So that I'm going to choose is my favorite, 675 LT from McLaren.
Okay. Is there enough in the Bentayga to make it more than just a W12 Q7 with a nicer interior? From Will Long 19.
Great question. So to kind of reference a couple of things that Will was talking about, the Bentayga, yes, it is based on the same platform that underpins the Audi Q7 and the Lamborghini Urus. And any other cars I'm missing? Porsche Cayenne, perhaps? Yeah, so the same platform, and so it could be, because Volkswagen owns Bentley and Audi and Porsche and Lamborghini and Volkswagen, of course, they share parts between the cars. Very, very few parts are shared in this Bentley, and you really have to do some hunting to find anything that looks like a standard Audi or Volkswagen part. I found one very kind of like just subtle on the steering wheel, the controls
Let's
for
see it.
Oh, okay, Christina. As you can tell, she wears the pants in this relationship. So here, these controls on the steering wheel, you will find the same button layout as on the Audi Q7, but Bentley went a step further. They added a knurled finish to this scroll wheel here, so that kind of differentiates, and a chrome border for the packaging. But I mean, that's one little thing that you can call out. If you've been in a Q7, that will look similar to you. But apart from the platform, which really, I mean, it is the foundational ingredient to any SUV, any other car really, but I don't find it at all. I love soft closed doors. You'll see a lot of that nerding out in the review. I don't find it at all to feel like a Q7. One, this thing feels like you are driving a mansion, but not a mansion in the sense that it's not going to be able to take a corner, but just in terms of like really well built, maybe a castle. Just like it is a fortress, and the Q7 feels like an SUV. This feels like you were just driving this really powerful thing, and it feels all so well built. The insulation is incredible, and so I don't know. Comparing it to the Q7, yes, it's the same platform, but everything else feels different. You already mentioned, Will, the interior is nicer. It's not even just nicer. It's just a different planet. The interior is so much nicer. The attention to detail, you'll see this in the review. I nerd out about it. Christina's like, wrap it up.
No, I'm just saying, like, show us.
Oh, I'll show you. I will show you the interior. Yeah. Unfortunately, kind of parked in the sun here, so it's hard to see. But let's talk details. I already mentioned like a knurled finish on the dial, but like these air vents, classic Bentley, push to close, pull to open the air vents, and there's a knurled finish on the outside of the controller, and then on the border of the air vents themselves, there is leather everywhere, leather or Alcantara. So you've got an Alcantara headliner, very soft, very nice, and then Alcantara wrapping for the steering wheel, leather border for everything on the wheel that isn't metal. So, you know, sometimes these pieces in here, they're plastic or metal even. This is wrapped in leather. They wrapped everything in leather. There's carbon fiber all over the place, which may seem odd in a Bentley, but this is the Speed model, so it has 626 horsepower. But the details in this vehicle are so, if you have a detail-oriented mind, you will love everything about the cabin, because a designer spent a lot of their time poring over the details to make it exquisite in every way possible. So that is why, one of the reasons why, it is definitely not a Q7. It's not a Q7 in engine, it's a W12 engine, a very rare engine. In fact, 12 cylinders by themselves are going to be like discontinued very soon here, so thank your lucky stars when you have one. But yeah, the powertrain's great question, Will. I think it's very much distinct from a Q7.
Agreed. What is your favorite feature from Caleb Harrison 03?
Well, if I can kind of regurgitate here, my favorite feature is probably the simple fact that, well, it's two. All right, so 12-cylinder engines, for those who have not had the blessing of driving one, they are so effortlessly smooth. Because you have so many more cylinders, they're basically working at a lazy rate to be able to deliver so much power. So when you drive the car, the way the power comes at you is buttery smooth. And even though it's twin turbocharged, and you might think the turbos add a certain element to it, a 12-cylinder engine by itself is so silky smooth. That's probably one of my favorite features in this vehicle. And then I'm gonna also say the interior and the attention to detail, if I may.
Plus the massaging seats.
The massaging seats, those are great, but you can get them in other cars.
I know, but I really
The W12, that's very rare. You're entitled to your opinion, Christina.
How much was that body kit that actually makes it look worse, from Elliot Manning?
Oh, harsh. Okay, so he's referring to the Speed packaging. So the Speed ultimately is this lower front splitter, and these wheels, the Speed badges here, this side skirt that runs along the back. And then this diffuser back here. So yes, these are elements, I suppose, of a body kit. So I'm sure we will get to this at some point. The design of the Bentayga is not my favorite anyway. So that part alone, body kit or not, Speed version or not, that's not going to be my favorite element of the Bentayga. It's all about the driving experience and the interior for me. But that package, the Speed package, so let's see, the entry-level Bentayga, the hybrid 6-cylinder, which I can't believe you can say that, at this price is $166,000. This Speed, which I can't remember the price of the standard W12 Bentayga, but there's the 6-cylinder hybrid, the twin turbo V8, then the W12, and then the Speed. So this Speed is $237,000, give or take, and the standard W12 I'm sure is in the low $200,000. I'm pretty sure it's like 212. Someone correct me if they know. But yeah, so you're spending a fair chunk of change. But when you're getting over $200,000 for a vehicle, what's an extra 20 grand or so? It's really just the people who buy the Speed are the ones that want the top of the line. They want the biggest and best. They don't care what it costs.
How much was this one?
$237,000.
No, this one was more.
Oh, this one, sorry. Good correction, Christina. As tested, this car right here is $273,000. Lots of money.
Favorite part and worst part about the car? I think you already answered this.
I kind of did. I didn't really reference worst part. So favorite part is going to be the W12 or the interior. Both are incredible. But the worst part is probably a tie. I mentioned the Volkswagen, ownership and therefore small bit of sharing of parts. That infotainment, the 8-inch infotainment, which we can show them, Christina. Start up the car. This 8-inch infotainment, which is small by today's standards, is shared with $20,000 and $30,000 Volkswagens. Turn down the air vents. There has been some software changes. I'm sorry, the software changes are effectively the same. There has been some why can I not think of the word? They've changed the look. Yeah, reconfiguration, but they've changed the look of certain things, but the software underpinning it, powering it, is all the same, and it's really outdated. It's super duper outdated. So this is probably the worst part about the SUV, and the design also is not my favorite. Not when you look at like the Bentley Continental and interface. Thank you, Brian. The interface is a little different for the Bentley as compared to, say, a Volkswagen Passat. But the design is not going to be my favorite part of the car. When you look at something like the new Continental, by comparison, it's just, there's definitely family sharing of design language, but the Continental is so much better looking. This, not so much. Inside, definitely. Outside, not so much. Especially don't like the face. All right, let's, have we done a full walk around of the car? Everyone seen the walk around? I mean, just of the exterior. Christina, I know, she's wielding a bunch of things here. She's trying to answer your questions. She's trying to show the car. Trying to manage me.
That's a job in and of itself.
It is.
Okay, last question on here, and then I'm going to get to the YouTube questions.
Okay.
Do you prefer this or the GLS 63 that you drove recently from Peter the Iceman?
Peter the Iceman, that's a great question. It's a small plane. This or the GLS 63? I loved that GLS 63. Christina loved it too. In terms of interior, that had more flashy stuff. This is more traditional luxury awesomeness. This engine is such a sweetheart. I've already expressed my love for the 12-cylinder powertrain. So I'm going to take this engine over that V8 twin turbo from the GLS 63. The design, even though I don't love the design of the Bentayga, oh man, see, I didn't love the design of the GLS 63. That's tough. Neither of them take the edge in the design category, let's put it that way. I don't want to keep getting in the way of the actual car. But, gosh, that's a difficult question. That's such a good question. I loved the GLS 63. I loved all of the technology in it. It was far more sophisticated in terms of technology than this.
Yeah, I feel like you were much more amazed with the GLS.
I was more amazed, but if I'm going to just, oh man. This is a wonderful SUV, but it's also, in this spec, almost double the price of that GLS 63, and therefore, we'll just talk about that alone. The GLS 63, if you doubled that, the goodness of that would outweigh the single goodness of this car. Let's put it that way. I'm going to leave it at that because I can't go any deeper into it because I love both of them for different reasons.
Okay. So let's get into the YouTube questions.
Okay, YouTube questions.
Hellos. Thank you everyone for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in.
And
Jumping in? Thanks for jumping in.
Sure.
Morning, brain.
And Bentley is this is from MilesPerHr GB. He says Bentley is the nearest car manufacturer to him.
Oh, cool.
He lives in England.
That's an awesome.
Manchester.
That's an awesome fact.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in from England.
And then from B-Moth, how does the ride quality compare to the 2020 X5?
Ooh, this is just on a different level. So I've driven the new X5. I actually have the X5M competition coming soon. Performance oriented, not going to be as refined as the standard X5 in terms of ride quality, but this is just on a different level. The air suspension in this is so well tuned that you just float over things. Anything that you would feel in a normal SUV, even an adaptive suspension, this air suspension just takes it to a new level. There are air suspensions in other vehicles. Bentley's tuning of their air suspension is incredible. And the acoustic glass and all of the sound deadening that they put into this is 10x what you're going to find in a traditional luxury SUV. So it is coffin-like inside in terms of ride quality. I'm just going to pause and just rev it a couple times because that's what people usually want to hear. That's what the people want. That's what they want. I mean, so here's the thing. It's still a Bentley, and so therefore it's not going to be this big, flashy, shouty thing. But this one, the Speed, does have a retuned exhaust by Akrapovic. They usually retune motorcycle exhaust or develop motorcycle exhaust, so it's kind of funny that they did this one. But it sounds pretty good when you're on the open road. I can only rev it to 4,000 just sitting here in park, but if you're on the open road, revving it over 6,000, it makes some nice little pops and bangs from the exhaust.
Usually someone has a reaction, but it's pretty silent.
Oh, harsh.
What does that say?
Yeah, nothing
Okay,
impressive.
from Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
Speed looks way better. That's what he thinks.
Okay, so there you go.
Okay. And then from Alexander Cooper, when will they update the replay to fall in line with the Continental GT?
Update the replay, maybe a typo. Update the design probably to fall in line with the Continental GT. I hope very soon here. I would expect very soon, probably in the next 2 years, because the new Continental. Let's go to the front because there it's most obvious the design distinctions. So they've tried to update certain things like the headlights to fall in line with the new Continental. But this whole grille area is not the latest in terms of Bentley design language. This is still too chunky. They're doing too much with the old classic Bentley chunkiness. The new Continental flows and is beautiful. So Christine's like, get out of the way. I gotta shoot the car here. She's getting so much better with that gimbal, let me tell you. In the beginning,
It was really
it was a struggle. It was a struggle. But yeah, so the design will it will improve to reflect the new Continental in the next 2 years. That's my estimate. While we're talking about design, real quick, before the next question. Though I am not a huge fan of the Bentayga, the best look at the Bentayga is the profile, in my opinion. I think it has the most going on for it in the profile, and specifically this character line runs from the tail light down there. It flares the rear haunches and it gives them like really good stance. That's W12 stance right there. That character line. So that's my favorite design element of the new Bentayga. What was the next question?
It's hilarious. Brian Louderback. Wait a minute, you actually talk?
What, Christina?
No, you. I
Me?
think,
Oh,
because
yes.
You only do.
That is funny.
POVs and-
That's very funny. Yes, I do talk. I talk in my live Q&As and my reviews. Those are the only times I talk in the week. Yeah, the other days, I'm just silent.
That's completely false.
Christina called out my lie. I talk way too much, which is why it's so fun to make the no talking videos. Because it's like, hey, let's pretend I don't talk all the time.
Yeah, it's fun for me. Okay, Mr. JL, this came out well before the new Continental, though. The Bentayga looks miles better than the last generation Continental.
Yes, I agree with you. I do agree with you. This came out a while ago. I was at the reveal in 2015 in Beverly Hills, and at the time I was like, okay, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world in terms of design, but as other, you know, big luxury performance SUVs have come out looking better than this is starting to look a little old and too classic in terms of chunky Bentley.
Okay, and then from James Taylor Jr., that's a pretty nice SUV.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Costs a pretty nice penny.
It does.
And then from BMoth, would you choose this or the Range Rover SVA?
I do like that Range Rover. Okay, I'm assuming money is no object here because there is a price delta between the Range Rover SVA and this. If money is no object, I'm gonna choose this just because the ride quality in that Range Rover is awesome. But the ride quality in this is seriously on another level. The only thing that I know of that has better ride quality than this in this segment is the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, which I will be getting soon to review, so look forward to that. And that'll be one where I'm just like gonna be blown away because it's an SUV, but it's gonna ride like a cloud.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, she says. Oh, should we show the rear seat area?
Sure.
Okay, so I haven't really done that. Sorry for all the bad lighting. I could move it to an area with shade.
Yeah, we're gonna drive it.
Okay. Once again, folks, Christina runs my life. So this is the rear seat area. As you can see, just as well appointed as the front. These rear seats can recline a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit.
They're also not automatic like the GLS.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, like even as a simple thing in these SUVs would be having power controls for folding the seats. You don't have those here. You don't even have a control in the trunk to even fold the seats. Even if it was manual, there's no control. You have to come around to the side and do manual labor, which Bentley owners will never do. They don't want to do manual labor. They're allergic to it.
What is this?
What's what? Oh,
The
that?
screens.
Oh, it's a control. That's actually cool. Here, step back. You can press this button, and it will eject this display. Why did I put the emphasis oddly on eject? It will eject. It's going to eject the display. Now you can control the entertainment from back here, so I could control what's going on.
Video game.
In terms of the radio, it is like a little video game. It does not have video games on it. That's a missed opportunity. But it does have the vehicle data. I can see what my fuel economy is. Why would you care about that as a rear seat passenger? You can turn on your heated seats from here. If you get the option for ventilated rear seats, this one doesn't have that. At $273,000, it doesn't have that. A Kia Telluride would have that, just saying. And you can climate control and all that. You can adjust that from this. Mostly it's just a cool thing. Hey, look, I got a little tablet. It's not as cool. Speaking of the GLS 63 that I had a little while ago, that was a 7-inch Samsung tablet. This is an itty bitty little chunky tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But anyway, I've got plenty of legroom back here. Very comfortable. It feels wrong to be wearing shorts in a Bentley. I just realized that.
look at those legs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whoa.
Nice and hairy. Yeah, so it feels wrong to be wearing shorts in Bentley, but I'm doing it anyway. What's the next
You
question?
should have dressed up a little bit more.
Oh, thanks, Christina. Throwing me under the bus again. This is extreme silver paint, just throwing it out there. I love this paint color. I don't like silvers. This is not a traditional silver. It's got metal flake in it. It changes from like a baby blue to a deep metal color to all sorts of different things. It's a wonderful paint job. And it's not that much extra, I don't believe. It may even be a standard color on the Bentley Bentayga Speed. I don't know. I didn't see it as an option on the spec sheet.
This is a good question. From, let's see, to Dan Next Level. To the Next Level.
To the next level. She got it. Yeah.
Would you modify the Bentayga? If yes, what would you do?
Well, it has a W12 engine and twin turbos, and it only makes 626 horsepower from that. There is guaranteed to be more power to be had from that engine. I think an easy tune would probably get you 800 horsepower from this, and that would just be stupid fun. It's already bonkers fast. This is tied with the Lamborghini Urus for top speed of 190 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 is like 3.8 seconds or less. So it's already stupid fast, but 800 horsepower, that'd be pretty amazing. You would then have to upgrade other things, like you would have to get the carbon ceramic brakes for this, which are an option. You would have to, reinforce probably the transmission. It's an 8-speed, probably from Torque Flight. Actually, don't, maybe ZF. Probably ZF makes the automatic. But you probably have to bulk it up to handle 800 horsepower. I'm not going to go any further than that. That's what I would do. It's a 12-cylinder. You got to give it more power.
Let's get into the driving, and I'll ask you these, because which sound system does this have?
Oh, yeah. Was that actually a question, or was that your question? Okay, because that's a great question.
Being off, I believe.
Great question. I love that you asked that, because you set me up for one of the funniest parts about this car. The sound system, it's a name brand sound system. It's a name brand sound system, Naim. That's the name of the brand of this sound. Christina doesn't like the joke. That's the name of the brand of the sound system, Naim for Bentley. It is an incredible sound system. I'm dying because it's so freaking hot in here. Sorry, getting some air. Getting some air eventually. It's doing so slowly. It's on its own time because it's luxury. Naim brand 22 speaker sound system. Let's just play something. That seems like the right thing to play in this car too. Okay, Christina's trying to turn it off.
No, I was trying to dance with you.
Oh, okay. She's doing that hand dance. It's the good stuff. Make sure they can see the steering wheel and all this good stuff. The Breitling clock in here, classic touches of a Bentley. It looks like jewelry up on the dashboard. Sorry, the air is flowing so strongly. We need air. We're dying. It's warm here in Southern California. Oh, that air feels good.
Well, that's so nice. From Rodrigo Luis, he says the best channel of POV.
Oh, thank you, Rodrigo. Love making those.
Aaron says not that much extra for Bentleys means $6,000 for a paint job. Which is true.
Oh, $6,000? Oof.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Check out this key, by the way. Look at that. Sorry. It's in manual mode for some reason. It is such a thick key. This thing's heavy.
Yeah.
So we're driving now. We're cruising. And I'm just going to notch it down a little bit. Let's put it into sport mode here. So they retuned the sport mode for the Bentayga Speed. And then let's put our foot down now. Oh. So here's the thing about the Bentayga. Because it's so well insulated and so refined in its driving experience, that didn't feel like we were going all that fast. We're actually trucking. We just picked up 50 miles an hour like that. So yeah, that's the Bentayga experience. When you get performance from this Bentayga as opposed to something like the Mercedes-AMG GLS, which makes a big fuss about the speed that it's going. This just sort of, you just happen to be going 120 miles. Not now, but just in general.
Okay, a couple more comments and questions.
Okay.
From BMOF, he knew it was Naim, and then he heard it's really nice.
Yeah, it is really
from
nice.
Sam Sharma, would you rather have this or a Urus?
Oh, I'm ashamed to admit this. I have not driven the Urus. I need to drive.
You haven't? No,
I haven't.
I thought you
No, I haven't driven the Urus. Urus or Urus, I think it's pronounced Urus. I have not driven the Urus. I need to schedule one of those because that's kind of the holdout among these really high-end performance SUVs that I haven't driven. So I can't really say. I can say from a design standpoint, the Urus it didn't translate the Lamborghini design language from supercars to SUVs well, in my opinion. There are some specs of the Urus that don't look bad. I actually like it in white with black wheels, but in like the yellows, No, I don't like the design at all. It is ridiculously fast for an SUV. 0 to 60 is like 3.2 seconds. Some tests have seen it at 3 seconds flat. That's crazy fast for a vehicle weighing over 5,000 pounds. But when I take this or there is, especially as a daily driver, this 100%. 100%.
From Glorfindel Ironfoot, which one do you
Love that name.
Do you prefer, Bentayga or the Cullinan?
So I have driven the Cullinan, but I'm getting it in a couple weeks to review, and I'll have more thoughts then. I don't like how the Cullinan looks. I don't like how this looks very much, but I like how this looks more than the Cullinan. Cullinan just, it's odd. The proportions are odd. Yeah, so I'm gonna, because this ride quality is so good, I know the Cullinan is going to be better, but because the ride quality of this is so good, I wouldn't trade out feeling like the look of my Cullinan is just awkward. It is a Rolls Royce, and I mean, that has some weight to it. Good question. If money was no object, maybe the Cullinan, but that starts at $327,000 for the Cullinan. Add any specs to that, you're getting close to $400,000. So if money was an object, this. If money is no object, maybe the Cullinan because it's a roller. It's a Rolls. That's rad.
Okay.
I bounced around a lot. That wasn't really definitive in my answer. Sorry. Christina agrees.
Okay, what's up, everyone from Daily Driven H2? Hey.
Oh, Daily Driven. What's going on, dude?
In Cars We Trust, does it feel like an expensive Audi, or did Bentley really nailed it?
In Cars We Trust.
Yeah.
Great. No. So Will asked the question whether it feels kind of like an Audi Q7, or have they done enough to make it distinct from an Audi Q7? I think they've done a significant amount to change it to feel more special than an Audi. So it's not just a Q7.
Should we show them the Pano?
Pano roof, yeah, sure. It's going to be slow because it's a Bentley. Everything's just going to be leisurely, except for this W12.
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay. Christina's already bored. Why would you
eventually.
suggest that?
To show everyone how slow it is. They need to know if they're purchasing this vehicle.
But can we just, I'm in sport mode, and this ride is incredibly smooth. I'm going to go over some bumps. I am going to put it in comfort. Go over some bumps real quick. Do you feel that, Christina?
No,
Barely. Yeah, barely. It's crazy. And that's the thing about the Speed. It's so fast whenever you want it to, but most of the time you're just going to enjoy how comfortable of a cruiser it is.
Okay.
What are the questions?
From Sam Sharma, do you think this is worth the premium over an X5M or X6M comp or GLE 63S?
So I have the GLE 63S right now, in fact. We'll be reviewing that this coming week, so look forward to that. You're just giving me easy plugs here, people. But compared to the X5 and the X5M competition is coming in a couple weeks, I think it's worth the price premium because, you're coming from a person who can never even imagine affording these vehicles, but in terms of just objective driving pleasure, the X5M competition, the GLE 63S, they're all phenomenal performance SUVs, and they do ride quality well, but this is just a different level of relaxation. This is just so serene. What?
Massaging seat.
Oh yeah,
She said that.
Christina's talking about a massaging seat. I'm going to massage my butt. I'm going to choose the pulse massage. No, let's do the wave.
Yeah, I like wave.
Let's do the wave. But yeah, just speaking of, tranquility behind the wheel, this is tranquility behind the wheel. Same thing you're going to get in the Cullinan, maybe even better in the Cullinan. I'll find out soon. But this is just, it's so pleasant.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going, by the way. I'm just driving.
From Brent Flemmer, love your channel and this car.
Love you, Brent.
Off-topic question. Are you planning
weird?
on reviewing the new Escalade, and what do you think of the new Escalade?
I would love to review the new Escalade. I'm intrigued by it. I didn't like the design, certainly, of the current Escalade. And the interior, I thought the design was fine. The interior was just so lacking. When you get in something like the Lincoln Navigator, the new Navigator, and then you get back in the Escalade, you're like, whoa, dated much? So I am looking forward to the new Escalade because the photos they've submitted look spectacular, both outside and inside. So I'm optimistic about how that one is going to be. I don't know when I'll get to review it, unfortunately, because GM is really slow rolling that one, especially with all the COVID-19 stuff going on. So yes, I will review it at some point. I don't know when I'll be able to, but thanks for loving the channel, dude.
Okay, from P and do you like the split headlights?
So the Bentley, I'm assuming you mean the Bentley bisecting the top and bottom of the headlights. I do like it, just because you get to like just have Bentley written out in your headlight. That's awesome.
And we showed those a little earlier.
Yeah, sorry, we're driving now, so can't. Christina, get out of the car. Go show them the headlights.
Okay, and another, from Daily Driven H2. That's a nice sunroof. Big is always better, in my opinion.
Yep.
Agreed. And then from P and again, another question. Do you like the carbon fiber in this interior, or would you prefer it to be wood?
The carbon fiber in this is very good. It's not a question of whether it's good carbon fiber or not. Remember, if you double tap that, it'll recenter. Okay, she's got it. The carbon fiber in this is very good, but I think a Bentley needs to have real wood trim. That's what I think. So I would prefer the real wood in this, even though this is the Speed model. Real wood would be my choice. Although at that point, would I go, because you can swap out the Alcantara from the steering wheel and seats and trim for just real leather. Would I swap that out for real leather? Probably. I'm just asking myself questions right now. Thanks for staying tuned. Real wood, I would choose that over the carbon fiber, and I would just probably swap out the Alcantara for leather. Except the steering wheel. I really love just the feel of Alcantara on the steering wheel. But then it's not going to wear as well as leather. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. So, another question?
Yeah, I think we're getting towards ones that we answered earlier, but
okay.
So we're going to... What's your favorite car that you have reviewed so far, from Joseph Verano?
Okay, so yeah, a bunch of people have asked that question, which is a great question. Best car I've reviewed, McLaren 675 LT. I hope that the 750 LT, when that comes out, exceeds those high benchmarks in my mind.
Okay, one more comparison question from Sam Sharma.
Okay.
This Bentayga or an X5M comp plus a C8 Corvette price would be about equal.
Oh. So that's, okay, so now we're talking like two cars for the price of one. That would be really interesting. I haven't driven the C8. I'm like begging Chevy to give me a C8. They're going to give it to me in the summer, but we have to be patient for that. Okay, so these questions are really difficult to answer because you're talking to a person who, my daily driver, which, by the way, good plug for this, at 50,000 subscribers, I will do a full-on detail of not detail as in clean it, I'm just going to show you my daily driver and talk about it extensively, maybe even review it just for fun. So let's get to 50,000. But you're talking to a person who, my daily driver is probably worth $15,000, so I can't even fathom this car or having two really good cars, but I would choose the two really good cars just because one's going to be a really great sports car and one will be a pretty spicy SUV that is also comfortable and also good looking. Hope that answers the question well, with a rant in between.
Yeah.
Are we going to end it there, Christina?
I think so. There's a lot of...
Before we go, I'm just going to punch it at least one more time.
I think what's happening is that you set the time.
Not to cut you off, but I just wanted to do that.
I think what's happening is you set the time
Oh,
for 11,
sorry.
so now we're getting a lot more people.
I'm sorry.
tuning in.
Yeah, by the way, sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it set it for 11. I could have sworn I set it for 10. So if you tune in at 11 and you're not able to participate,
I can keep going if you pull over.
I genuinely apologize. Oh no. Oh no. No, I don't want to run through 11 because it's only like 10:30 right now. So it's going to be a while. So unfortunately, you 11 viewers, not 11 the number of viewers, 11 AM viewers, I apologize. I did not set the time for this properly. So it's a bit early. And yeah, so that's the Bentley Bentayga Speed. Thank you for joining us. If you didn't get to submit questions, follow me on Instagram and on the YouTube community. Ask your questions. And you can just comment your questions, and I reply to all the comments. So
Yes,
send
he
those in.
does.
I do. Christina knows.
Take off one more time.
One more time? Okay, taking off one more time. Gonna try to slow down so I don't run into traffic here. Using the manual controls on the steering wheel and punching it. Oh, you can hear the twin turbos, but mostly it's just the smooth delivery of that W12 power. All right, that's gonna do, guys. That's gonna do it, guys. You know. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next time.
For the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
We love having you here.
Faux show. Bentley.